So do I like my hair loose like this, or do I want it like this? Hi, and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name's Mabel, and this is Mabel Journals, where we talk about books and we talk about journals. And if you've been here before, hi, and thank you so much for coming back. In today's video, as the title suggests, I am going to show you how I set up myself for the new month in my reading journal. And then I'll talk a little bit about the books that I've selected to read this month. Make sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and let's get started. Usually I dedicate 2 pages and I select some washi tape, and from that I gather my themed colors. Then I place the washi tape, depending on which ones I pick, around the border. Then I write April's, read and rated, and this is where I'll put the color that is assigned to each book, along with its author and its rating. And I'm just going to put this post-it note here to remind me what colors I selected. Then on the other side, I do the days of the month, along with the page selection. I decided I was probably going to read more pages a day this month, so that's why I do 20, 40, 60, 80, and I reached all the way up to, I believe it was 320, and this is the finished look. Now that you have seen my monthly setup for April, let's talk a little bit about the books that I'm planning to include there. I have a mixture of romance, fantasy, and contemporary fiction. I also do have some early readers copies that I plan to read this month, but I'm not going to include them in this video. I will include them though in my monthly wrap-up. Since I started recording this video in the first week of April, I did already get a head start in my TBR, and I started by reading 2 books. The first is The Sunbear Trials by Aidan Thomas, and the second is Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun. We'll talk about these obviously in my monthly wrap-up, but let's continue on with the rest of the books. Let's get started with the romance and contemporary fiction genres. So the first book is Pride and Protest by Nikki Payne. This has been in my TBR for a really long time, months and months, and it's time to put an end to that already, honestly. I am making it a priority for sure this month because Nikki's actually coming out with the new book, which is Sex, Lies, and Sensibility, which I think is also based off of Jane Austen's Sense and Sensibility. Speaking of which, the other book I want to read, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. So these 2, I'm not sure in which order I'm going to read them, but I do plan on reading both of them in this month. Then I plan to read Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. I did have a chance to read Things We Never Got Over, and some of the side characters that were in that one are now the main characters in this one. She also has Things We Left Behind coming out in September 5th of this year, and that has other side characters that have their own main character book as well. So I just love that. I think that that's just such a smart idea, and I think as a reader, I feel like there's so much purpose to me reading each book because I know that the information I'm gathering I'll eventually use in another book. AKA I love series. Next, I want to read Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. I read Olivia Blake's fantasy books. I read The Atlas Six, and I also read The Atlas Paradox, and I really enjoyed them. So I am looking forward to The Atlas Complex, which comes out I think next year. But in the meantime, I want to try her romance novel. What I know about this one is that it has to do with love and time travel, which still has that kind of fantasy element to it. So I'm super excited for this one. I was lucky enough to get this Illumicrate edition, so I'm not going to be annotating this one, but just look at how beautiful she is. Let's just give her a moment. And then you open it up and yeah, I love it. And lastly, for contemporary and romance genres, I have 2 Emily Henry books I really want to read. I have Beach Read, and I also have Book Lovers. She is coming out with Happy Place, so I did want to give her other books a chance since I didn't really love People We Meet on Vacation. It wasn't really my favorite, but I do think that these 2 I might enjoy because they have to do with writers and they have to do with books, and those are both things that I'm really interested in, obviously, so I think these might be really good. Next, let's talk about my fantasy picks for this month. First, since you know I read The Sun Bear Trials by Aiden Thomas, I hear that that has to do with The Hunger Games, which I've read the series and watched the movie, and the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. I have not read or watched anything by him, so let's start with The Lightning Thief. I'm super excited for this because it has 5 books and I love series. Next, I have Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. One thing about me is that I love morally gray characters. I think that not only are they interesting, also need strong character development, character depth, and incredible storytelling in order to get their purpose and their goals across so that readers like me are rooting for them. From my understanding, our female main character in this book is the villain, and what more can I ask for? I want to know her story, I want to know her purpose, and I also want to root for her. There's also a sequel called The Painted Devils, and that's coming out in May, so I'm getting ready for that. And my last book is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Su Lin Tan. All I know about this one is that our main character lives on the moon and she has powers that she has to hide and that she also doesn't know of. It incorporates Chinese mythology and has romance and thrill. It's also a duology, so I know it's gonna leave me kind of hanging on a cliff until I read the next one, but don't worry, I have it as well. I'm planning to read it next month though. Okay, so that concludes my April TBR and my journal setup for this month. Let me know if you plan to read or if you have read any of these books. Please leave me a flower emoji if you got to the very end of this video. I really appreciate it and I just want to know who those people are. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me a comment letting me know what you think of these books. And follow me on my other socials. If you're wondering how I create my journal entries, I always post them on Instagram and on TikTok. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!